So let's say about laser. Okay, so general introduction to laser, its working principle, applications, and its uses in different fields. Okay. So let's say about the first introduction to this laser. The word laser is the acronym for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Lasers are highly directional, intense, coherent, and monochromatic in nature. In 1917, Einstein proposed theory of stimulated emissions. Based on this theory of stimulated emission, using this principle, Neumann developed the first solid-state UV laser in 1960. Ali Japan and others developed first gas laser in 1961. Then let's say about the principle of laser. Principle of laser is based on three basic phenomena. First one is the absorption, second one is the spontaneous emission, and third one is the stimulated emission. Okay, so let's first about absorption phenomena. If a photon interacts with any atom in lower energy state and during that interaction atom absorbs that photon, then the energy of that atom increases, and due to that increase in energy atom moves from lower to higher energy state. Such a transition of atom is known as a stimulated or induced absorption here. Okay, so to understand this, let's consider an atom having two energy levels, say E1 and E2. E1 is lower energy state, E2 is the higher energy state. So if a photon of energy h nu interacts with the atom which is in lower energy state E1, then during that interaction, that atom in lower energy state E1 absorbs the photon, and that photon, to the absorption of that photon, that atom moves from energy state E1 to the energy state E2. Okay, so such a transition is known as a stimulated or induced absorption. Second one is spontaneous emission. Okay, so if an atom moves from higher to lower energy state due to its natural tendency to acquire lower energy configuration for stability, then it emits photon of energy h nu equal to E2 minus E1, which is basically this energy is the energy difference between higher and lower energy state. So such a transition is known as spontaneous transition here. Okay, so suppose here, due to that stimulated absorption, atom is moved from energy state E1 to E2 and atom is in energy state E2. Okay, so this atom remains in the energy state E2 for a very short time period. Due to its natural tendency, that atom always tries to acquire the lowest energy configuration, and to acquire that lowest energy configuration, that atom immediately makes a downward transition to the lower energy state E1. Okay, and during that transition, this atom releases energy which is equal to the energy difference between the energy state E2 and energy state E1. So h nu is equal to E2 minus E1. Okay, so such a transition which occurs due to transition of atom from higher energy state to the lower energy state without supply of any external energy is called as a spontaneous emission. The spontaneous emission occurs due to natural tendency of atom. Okay, this is not a forced transition of atom. Third one is a stimulated emission. Okay. Before spontaneous emission, okay, so spontaneous emission occurs due to natural tendency. But before that spontaneous emission, if suppose any photon interacts with that atom, and if that atom absorbs that photon, then the energy of that atom increases, its stability decreases, instability increases, and due to acquire that stability, that atom then moves from that higher energy state to the lower energy state. Okay, so during this transition, basically here this atom releases energy equal to 2h nu. Okay, it releases basically two photons having energy h nu equal to E2 minus E1. Okay, so such a transition is known as a stimulated emission here. Okay, so before interaction, suppose the atom is in higher energy state and a photon of energy h nu interact with this atom. So when this atom absorbs this photon, its energy will be equal to E2 plus h nu. Okay, then after interaction, that atom becomes highly unstable. So to acquire stability, that atom moves from higher energy state E2 to E1, and here during this transition it releases two photon here. Okay, so total energy release is equal to 2h nu. Okay, so 1 h nu energy is the energy absorbed by the photon, and h nu energy is the energy difference between higher energy state E2 and lower energy state E1. Okay, so this is a very important phenomenon. Right? Basically, working of a laser is based on the stimulated emission. The name laser is itself given from this phenomenon. Laser is the acronym for light amplification by stimulated emission here. So in this case, light amplification occurs due to the stimulated emission. How this light amplification occurs? Okay, so here basically one photon interacts with one atom, and due to transition of that single atom, two photons are released. These two photons then again interact with two neighboring atoms in higher energy state. Due to transition of these two atoms to lower energy state, again what happens? 2 into 2, 4 photons emerge. These 4 photons interact with 4 neighboring atoms. Due to their transition, how many photons will emerge out? 8 photons will emerge out. Okay, so this emission of photon increases very rapidly due to multiplication factor. Okay, and within a very short time period, very large amount of energy is released. Okay, so this is such type of emissions are called as stimulated emission, and the working of laser is based on the stimulated emission. These lasers are divided into different categories depending upon the active medium used in this laser. Okay, so these different types of lasers are, first one is solid state laser. In solid state laser, the active medium is in solid form. Second one is the gas laser. In gas laser, active medium is in gaseous form. Third one is the liquid laser. In liquid laser, active medium is in liquid form. Fourth one is dye laser. In dye laser, active medium consists of organic dye. Fifth one is semiconductor laser. In the semiconductor laser, active medium is made up of semiconducting material. Okay, so depending upon the types of that active medium, these lasers are divided into different categories here. These lasers are used in different fields. These lasers are used in industry to drill, cut, weld, and remove metal from the surface. These lasers are used in optical communication system to transfer the signal. In optical fiber cable, light additions are used as a carrier wave. So these light waves emerging from the laser source are used as a carrier wave here, because these lasers are highly monochromatic and coherent. These lasers are used in medical field for tumor excision, kidney stone extraction, treatments of lungs, liver, and eye.